we shove everything aside. Somebody once said that if you look under the Nigerian carpet, it's almost overflowing. So thank you so much for sharing that and reminding us how important we should take our mental health and address the issues we face within. I'll just quickly recognize some individuals that walked in. We have Ambassador Godwell Odogun, the CEO of YALI's Global Nigeria Limited. Thank you so much for coming. A round of applause for him.
And also we want to quickly recognize all the young persons that are here, all the young people that are here. Please just put your hand together for yourself. Thank you so much.
We also have Ebaide Queen Omiunu, Sustainable Development and Policy Expert, Climate Change Educator, Advocate, and co-founder at TEI, who is right here with us. Hello, Ebaide. It's been a while. A round of applause for her.
All right, and we also have right now, we have Farida Yahya, President, Mandela Washington Fellowship Association of Nigeria. Please can we make her welcome? Thank you so much for coming.
Other acknowledgements will continue after that, but at this moment we'll quickly call on one of our special guests, Dr. Oyewole, Senior Special Assistant to the President on International Cooperation and Secretary General Conference of Speakers and Presidents of African Union Legislators.
And then we'll be doing a talk for us on public management. You're welcome.
For his address. Thank you, sir.
For his address. At least we forget to mention that part. You're welcome.
Thank you. Partnership and Morning Point, who seems to be the darling for the day. Thanks for sharing your story. Stories are important because a lot of young people think that, you know, you snap your fingers and you make it. But when you hear the stories of how people got there, that's when you begin to realize the importance of determination and resilience. Mr. Daniel Black, my brother, friend, ally, and comrade, thank you for the invitation. We met, I think, was at the Summit of the Future conference, which my office organized. And I can say he's not just being a leading light in terms of leading the YALI network, but quite an inspiration to many young people. We're really proud of the work you're doing. Well done, sir. Please clap for him. Another ally, assistant friend, I will call her Hajia Farida Yahya, the president of the Mandela Washington Fellowship. It's good to see you, and congrats on the very successful event that you held at the State House recently. And of course, someone who spoke just before me, Miss Lucy Abeng, the CEO of the Mental Health Initiative for Youth. It's easy sometimes to think mental health is just something Oyibo people talk about, but you only have to look around a lot of the issues and challenges we're finding in our country, and not even in our country, in Africa, and not just with youth, but across all demographics. Mental health is critical. And in fact, mental health is one of the most important aspects of leadership. And of course, the leadership and the members of the YALI network, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and please, of course, if I've missed anyone, allow me to stand on existing protocols. It is an honor to be here this fine Friday morning to speak to such a dynamic and inspiring group of young leaders. Let me begin by appreciating the impressive efforts of the national head and Abuja hub coordinator, Mr. Daniel Black, and all of you for inviting me to share some thoughts and ideas with you today in a world distracted by the excesses of social media and unconstructive entertainment. I sincerely applaud your shared commitment to shaping a new narrative for the next generation of African leaders, and by so doing, shaping a better future for our continent. I must admit, as a Yale World Fellow, I've been a bit jealous of the YALI network for some time. I was the first, I was the first male Nigerian Yale World Fellow. But when I go anywhere, I think there are only maybe 5 Nigerian Yale World Fellows. But when you walk around Abuja, you meet a young, impressive person. The first thing you hear is they're all members of the YALI network. And I think that's just a testament, not just to the selection, but also to the training that you have all received. closely followed the work of YALI with admiration, especially the face-to-face program and the recent events that you held, your national summit in Uyo. I think that was in August, and I believe it was themed localizing global impact. And that theme, much like today's, highlights the importance of grounding our global aspirations in local realities, which I believe is essential for national development. I've been asked to speak to you for about 10 minutes on creating impact in public service. This topic for me, I believe, is of critical importance. I gave a similar speech at my alma mater, the London School of Economics, in 2023, as the cohort of its program on African leadership were graduating, and many of them were returning to Africa with a desire to work in the public service. I titled that speech, not returning to lead, but returning to serve. This is because often when we think about leadership, we think of leading visibly from the front, when often real leadership starts by serving from behind. The flawed emphasis on public service in today's world is that often the focus is on the public powers and privileges that come with the office, not on the main component, which is service. I strongly believe that to truly lead and to lead well, you must have a heart of service. True leadership is about service, not holding others in servitude. I believe that public service is indeed the engine of nation building, but only if holders of public office focus more on the element of service and not just the public acclaim that comes with the privilege of office. My dear friends, when President Barack Obama started the YALI network in 2010, I believe, there's no doubt that I envisioned the bright future you all can create when equipped with the right skills, knowledge, and resources. In fact, Obama's story itself is a good example of what is possible when purpose meets preparation and action through service. Long before the titles of senator or first African American president, Barack Obama was a young man determined to make a difference. At just age 23, he took the bold step of becoming a community organizer, walking into communities to listen to their frustrations and the aspirations of the people, and positioning himself as a bridge between these two things. Through collaboration and relentless advocacy, political strategy, he empowered them to become and to believe in their collective strength and demand change. And that is how he earned the confidence of people, and that opened the path that propelled him to the president. Note that I said he earned the path, not bought the path. President Obama understood that leadership is not defined by age or position. It is defined by the courage to serve and the determination to shape a future for others. It begins with seeing a need and saying, I will do something about it. Very much like Money Point in the story that you told. I'm sure most of you have heard his famous quote, which says, change will not come if we wait for other persons or some other time. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. So my dear friends, do not wait for tomorrow or for someone else to take the leadership. Take action today. Be the leader who does not just talk about problems, but one who creates solutions. Be the leader who, like Barack Obama, starts in the heart of the community and carries the dreams of others to new heights, and does so by creating impact through service. I was at the airport the other day, and somebody wanted to jump the queue. And the security guard stopped him and challenged him. And the man answered. I knew who it was. It was a political figure. And the man said to him, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? And I just looked and, shook my head. A servant leader does not have to say, do you know who I am? If you have served people in truth and with heart and might, you don't have to tell them who you are. They will recognize you because you have served them in a meaningful way that has transformed their life. But my friends, they also say that those who do not know their history are bound to repeat it. And often the past shapes the future. I'm a great lover of history. I don't know about you guys. So let's revisit a chapter in our African history. The formation of the African Union, which of course used to be called the Organization of African Unity. It was 1963, a time of great challenge, great change, and great opportunities for Africa. Africa had finally won its hard-sought independence from its colonizers, and the AU's founding fathers, many who were young visionaries, just like yourself, and who fought for our liberation, rose to the occasion, not merely to serve their nations, but to serve an entire continent yearning for freedom, dignity, unity, and development. If any of you come to my private office, you will see I have portraits on my wall. And I'm about to mention some of the people on those portraits. One being Julius Nyerere, the father of Tanzanian independence and its first president. Also, at a very youthful age, he was a beacon of hope for his nation, leading with humility and advocating for Pan-African unity. Nyerere's leadership extended beyond Tanzania. He became a champion of liberation across the whole of Southern Africa. He believed that an Africa united in purpose would overcome any challenge. A belief that I strongly believe is as relevant today as it was then. There's also Kwame Nkrumah, who at the age of 47 led his country to become the first sub-Saharan African nation to gain independence. Nkrumah saw beyond Ghana, envisioning a continent free from colonial rule and united in solidarity as it fulfills its manifest destiny to become a great continent. He committed his life to this purpose, and that is why today he is often remembered as one of the great fathers of Pan-Africanism. Another interesting example from our beautiful continent is that of a lady called Wangari Maathai, a trailblazing environmental and political activist whose journey in public service began at a remarkable young age. By the age of 37, she found the Green Belt movement, an initiative aimed at combating desertification and empowering women to plant more than 2 million trees on their farms and on school and church compounds. Her work in 2004, while she served as the Minister of Environment and Natural Resources in Kenya. Unfortunately, she is now deceased. When we come back home to Nigeria, we also have someone who I saw on an aeroplane, getting on a flight the other day. He didn't have to say to anybody, "Do you know who I am?" In fact, people by choice moved out of the way and offered him their seats and offered him passage. Why? Because they know who he is. This is General Yakubu Gowon, who at the age of 31 served as the head of state of this very country. Yes, at 31. He was not on TikTok doing legwork, as we find some 31-year-olds doing today. He was leading a nation, and his leadership, you want to clap, clap. And his leadership saw Nigeria through one of the most challenging times in our history. And that tells you that true leaders are those who in the face of adversity stand firm and committed. In fact, he coined the phrase, "no victor, no vanquished," which inspired Nelson Mandela that when he came out of jail 27 years after, he sought for reconciliation as opposed to conflict. His early leadership, a good friend of mine, a childhood friend, we grew up on the same street, went to the same primary school, same secondary school, same university, and of course, by the grace of God, served the government of our country. I am talking about the new Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. I've known Jumoke for over 40-something years. And one of the things people do not realize is that who you see today is exactly who she was in the beginning. Hardworking, commitment. Your Excellency, Thank you for being here, sir. Please, a round of applause for His Excellency as he leaves. As I was saying, Jumoke is someone who, right from when we were children, was hardworking, diligent, committed.